Let me start recording. Welcome, everyone. Thanks again for joining us for today's Appraisal Buzz webinar, sponsored by Valcre, Commercial Appraisers in Demand. Valcre discusses a pathway to a career expansion. We have a great opportunity today with Grant Norling, co-founder and VP of Client Experience at Valcre, and Mark Vila, Senior Software Engineer at Valcre. Grant, I'm going to hand it over to you and let you get started.
Well, thank you so much. Hello, and thank you for joining us today's webinar that explores appraisers expanding into commercial valuation. We'd like to thank Jim Morrison and the entire Appraisal Buzz team for the opportunity to provide this presentation. If you're tuned in today, you're likely a residential appraiser that has at least considered expanding into commercial. This could be because you often get commercial bidding opportunities that you can't take advantage of because of licensing. You're looking to diversify your appraisal business, or you'd like the challenge of expanding your appraisal knowledge base. Historically, there have been certain barriers to entry that have made the transition from residential to commercial more difficult. Due to recent advances in technology and access to standardized commercial valuation platforms like Valcre, expanding in the commercial appraisal has never been more achievable. Today, our discussion is not going to be focused on so much how to make the leap into commercial appraisal. Rather, we're going to be exploring why. Why is there the opportunity? Why are other residential appraisers expanding into commercial valuation? A little housekeeping. Feel free to add any questions that you might have as we go through the presentation. We will be addressing all the questions at the end of the presentation as time permits. My name is Grant Norling. I have 20 plus years of commercial appraisal experience. I've worked at national, regional firms, as well as running my own commercial appraisal business. I'm one of the co-founders of Valcre, commercial appraisal software. My role with Valcre is to help with adoption of the process and be an appraiser advocate in development of our useful tools. Mark?
Thank you. Hey, good morning and good day. Good day to everybody. Happy to be here online with everyone. Thank you so much for attending. My name is Mark Vila. I've worked with Grant and his team for about 4 years. Prior to that, many years in the CRE space. And while they're in the CRE space, I've helped create tech-enabled and tech-bolstered environments for the appraisal teams that I served and support. Robust work from home environments, while also providing tech-oriented appraisal platform. So with that, I think it's a good time to go ahead and move on to our poll. Our first poll that we're going to do, ask everyone to participate. What are you? How do you present today? Are you a residential appraiser, a commercial appraiser, or other? So look to your right. You'll be able to see the question. Actually should be popping up on your screen, and you can select the radial button next to the one that's yours, and then hit submit. And we'll move on to the next slide that Grant's going to be presenting as soon as we get participation in for that. Have a lot of answers coming in. We'll give that poll just another few seconds. Okay, Grant.
Awesome. All right, well, we'll kind of set the stage here a little bit, general overview of what we're going to be discussing. Seems like residential appraisers are looking to diversify their skill sets to include commercial analysis. By no means is this a new trend at all. However, we have seen a recent acceleration of interest in residential appraisers moving to commercial. Residential appraisers often talk about their desire to get in the education needed to obtain their commercial real estate professional certification. As an example, we pulled this recent quote from an online chat. I am a certified residential appraiser. I help run a successful business. However, I would like to get into the commercial appraisal if possible, earn my MAI designation, as well as get involved in the Appraisal Institute. That's awesome. I'm not sure how to advance to get into commercial appraising or make these advancements while still being able to run the family business. Any advice? Well, this person clearly wants to expand into commercial appraisal, but sees some challenges ahead on how to balance this all out. Well, they need a solid game plan and an understanding of the requirements and effective systems to achieve these goals. The commercial appraisal demand brought about a shortage of professionals is an advantage for residential appraisers. Residential appraisers have a big head start in terms of the educational requirements and general industry knowledge compared to anybody else that's trying to break into the industry.
Thank you, Grant. Yeah, some of the challenges that are there for appraisers that are looking to expand their business include, issues around revenue loss and the time to take off so that they could pursue training and so that they could pursue education. For this includes collegiate as well as, direct, classroom hours with third-party providers, that might specialize in providing education for commercial real estate. Because oftentimes it's hard to do all that while maintaining a revenue stream. You're providing for families and personal economics and priorities can sometimes, get in the way. So, and that's, as with any professional running or being a part of a business, diversifying always comes with these challenges. Some of the other things that somebody looking to expand can deal with are issues that are surrounding technology, the availability of it, and the cost to acquire that technology. These are definitely reasonable concerns to have. So it's not what we hope to share today is it's not a reason to be discouraged or reason to feel hopeless because we find that a lot of those that are looking to expand and diversify, just they're willing to put in the work, to remain competitive. And, nothing is easy. There's not an easy button for any type of that expansion. But, once, you find yourself willing to put in the work and remain competitive, then the next step would be just adopting that technology and understanding that, the tech could be the solution that alleviates a lot of the headaches that are associated with transition. So it's very important to inform ourselves on what that is. So that kind of takes us to our question today. Why diversify? What's the reason that's there? So some of the obvious parts, diversifying your book of business to include commercial assets. It could shield your business from the ebb and flow, the volatile real estate market. And the residential side of things tends to lend itself to a much more volatile environment than that of the commercial side. It makes sense in any business model, to opportunities to expand your offerings within your profession. It's good practice and it makes good sense. And a lot of times those moves within business are prudent. Oftentimes the longest yard is the distance between the classroom and the certification. But fortunately for residential real estate professionals specifically, there's already a foundation built for the basics of real estate valuation. So in many of the hours needed for getting that commercial real estate certification, you've achieved already or you've completed. So you're advantaged in a way, given that there's a much lower barrier to entry related to experience and the energy and effort becoming a CRE appraiser. It's a shorter path. The other reason to think about, certification means more opportunities for growth and revenue expansion. Once training and certification have been completed, for a lot of professionals making this leap, it's downhill from there. CRE tech has improved monumentally over the past several years. It's more accessible than ever before. And once we understand what that looks like and understand, how that plays into growth and revenue expansion, it's like icing on the cake. Very good tech that is out there for CRE appraisals to take advantage of is something for all of us to take note of. So after we talked about with a lot of professionals, in the field that want to expand, and we, talk about, why, the obvious next question is, well, how to diversify? What does that look like? And what does that look like for me? So one of the first questions that we try to help folks understand is, what do those requirements look like for an individual who wants to get state certified and even an MAI designation? What energy needs to be put forth? The requirements for getting certification are pretty standard across the states, and soon there may be some licensing initiative. But for now, the first thing that you want to do is, maybe get a notebook out, maybe get a journal, and just start looking and writing down and documenting what those requirements are in each of your unique situations. And then what we always coach folks to do is make a plan. Be very proactive about your plan and make a plan, because underestimating the process, it could lead to discouragement and a protracted journey. And there's a lot of people that have gone down that road that can help you too, but definitely, you want to make a plan. This next bullet here, I really like, leveraging the use of available technology. It's a must. Do not be afraid to adopt technology. And looking back and, in some of the mentor opportunities that a lot of us have had, we noticed that sometimes taking advantage of good technology can be daunting, and it can be scary, and actually it can even be frustrating sometimes. But technology is your friend, and technology is something that you invest in, not monetarily necessarily all the time, but mentally and emotionally. It's an investment that will pay you back, and it will pay you back always. Once the professional has made this leap, they start loading their toolbox. Every successful professional's got great tools. Whether you're a plumber, you're a doctor, engineer, or a welder. Even an attorney's got tools. Electricians have tools. It's the same for a good quality CRE professional. A mediocre professional might not have good tools, but behind every single great commercial real estate professional is a great set of tools. So we just want to make sure that we're aware of what available tech is and what adopting good technology looks like. Some examples of these tools, they include job management software. Some of us are already using that. Report writing software. Again, some of us may be using that. Databases, subscriptions to online information. These are all important things that we must understand in order to answer all our questions that are related to how we might diversify. On this next slide, you can see that some of these tools are highlighted in the graphic, but one of the highlights of this particular section is the point we want to make about community. And we can't emphasize enough how important peer groups are, especially as it relates to online collaboration. This is better than ever. Look at all of us now. There's hundreds of us sitting here right now talking about what this looks like. So you really, really need to focus on capitalizing on figuring out what some of these peer groups and online collaboration look like. And I'm talking about like Appraisal Institute, appraisal chapters, social media, and especially other appraisers. It's very, very, very important that we capitalize on this. I can't tell you how much, for me personally, having a mentor in my life early on in career, what that looked like and what that meant for me. It meant that I had somebody that I could trust, that I could go to. Somebody that I trusted was pointing me in the right direction. Somebody that had a whole lot of experience and was actually quite brilliant in the profession, was able to give me a lot of tips and tricks and personal one-on-one in terms of how to write good reports, how to communicate effectively, and just how to be an overall above average to excellent professional in that space. And so and I look back, if I had not had a mentor like that, who knows where I might be. I don't know, maybe here, maybe not here, but it definitely helped me along the way. So Finding a mentor and associating with peer groups is very, very important. You know, networking is extremely important. Network, and then network some more. It's kind of like, if you've ever trying to figure out how to do a DIY project or something like that, you're going to look for somebody that's done it before. Or you're going to go online and do some research. It's no different when it comes to bolstering your position in the real estate space in terms of expansion and diversifying. Find out who's done it before. Find out what they did. Find out their hurdles that they went through. Find out how they navigated through some of the obstacles that are obviously going to be there, because like I was mentioning earlier, there's not an easy button. It's going to be hard work, but the great thing about it is there's a pathway, and there are all kinds of neat things available to a person who decides to take this path. So with that, I think maybe we talk a little bit about technology adoption, and when we talk about the things that are available to us as individuals, as professionals that want to do this expansion, we keep mentioning tech, and we keep saying, hey, take advantage of this. That's probably one of the most important elements that are available to each of us as professionals, because if we can eliminate that hurdle, if we can make the leap to commercial real estate without being afraid of what technology is out there, am I going to find that technology? Is it available to me? What does it look like? You can check that box right off the bat. It kind of, again, you start towards that downhill path towards making this leap. In that vein, technology just lends itself to better efficiency as professionals. That's why it's very important, and why we must take advantage of it and not be afraid to adopt it. It leads to robust workflows and a prudent methodology. Technology gives professionals a competitive edge, and competitive edge enhances our ability to address issues like remote work, hybrid work challenges, things that can kind of get in the way sometimes of producing quality work, or maybe dealing with, maybe it's just life-related issues that kind of get in the way. If technology is, in our tool belt, then we can easily navigate some of those hurdles that pop up. Having good tech reduces costs. Believe it or not, it's actually less expensive to do our job when we have the right tools. And that's really for any profession. And if we've got the right tools and the right tech, well, then we're going to be reducing the time for production. And not only the time for production, but we're going to be able to have quality production. If I don't have to go and research and find out what tools are out there, what technology is out there, if I don't have to develop my own, well, then I don't have any R&D. I don't have any costs associated with going and looking around and finding out what's needed for me to do my job. So that's why it's very important at the onset in this journey that a lot of us might want to take is, what is this tech? What does it look like? Where is it? Why is it available? How much of it's available to me? You don't want to waste any time, answering those questions. Sometimes or for a lot of tech that's out there, the tools that are available through that tech might include something like templates that you don't have to build, processes during your workflow that you don't have to do manually. It'll be automated. Data feeds that are automated, integrations, between software platforms that are integrated. These are things that tech provides.
Hey, Mark, it seems like historically there's been big barriers to entry associated with the commercial space, quite often dealing specifically with the ability to treat specific asset types. Is that what you were speaking to in terms of templates?
Correct. Exactly. Thank you for that clarification. Yeah, sometimes that is definitely a challenge, and you don't have to deal with developing those out of the box. So thank you for bringing that up, Grant. And on that note, we want to introduce everybody to our next poll. do you find commercial real estate appraisal to be a growing profession or an area of expertise that is growing? You can answer yes, no, or not sure. And just for clarification, are you experiencing times or moments in your field of practice where there are a lot of opportunities to do commercial real estate, but maybe you're hampered because either it's an experience issue or a licensing issue, and you may not be able to provide those services, if you're finding that happening a lot? So we're interested in hearing everybody's feedback on that. Give that just a few more seconds. So it looks like we've got that poll handled. And with that, Grant, I'll turn it over to you.
So we thought it would be worthwhile to walk through a few case studies with the group here today and just kind of explore some residential appraisers that we're aware of on our platform that have made the transition from residential and expand their business practices into the commercial space. First case study, this is Karen Mann of Mann & Associates out of Northern California. Interestingly, she started out transcribing appraisals and doing administrative support for an experienced appraiser. And that led to her introduction into the residential space, where she got certified and then decided to take on commercial. And she has been running her own business for 43 years now as both a single family and commercial appraiser. She has a very diversified business, which has really helped smooth things out in terms of capturing business as she's navigated various business cycles. Specific to the commercial side, she was able to find a niche where she is known throughout her entire region of appraising religious facilities. And to date, she's appraised almost 1,000 different religious facility properties. And cool story, the Valcre team was able to work with her on some of the specifics that need to go into appraising that property type. And with her assistance, we actually built a religious facility template specifically for treating that property type. She also appraises marinas, is just known for it. That's part of her niche. Her core clients come to her for that property type. One of her favorite parts about the Valcre platform is the Valcre mobile app. She really appreciates how it has similar functionality to the residential tablet inspections that she's been working with for years and years. Our second case study, this is Eugene Thomas. He's out of Virginia. Historically, as a profession, Eugene has worn many different hats. He's a real estate broker, he's a developer and contractor, and he's been a residential appraiser for many years. Recently, he decided that he wanted to add commercial as a logical next step to continuing to diversify his business. He saw it as a skill set that was going to help him with his clients, not just on the appraisal side, but on the development and brokerage side as well. Again, really looking to diversify his business. He's using the Valcre platform to help standardize the commercial appraisal process that he's putting in place to do those types of reports. And he regularly uses our Valcre Assist team to help facilitate higher production volume. They provide front half report services that is kind of a pay-per-play service that we provide. And our third case study, this is Kevin Mohammed with Nations Real Estate Services in Texas. Guy's really committed to expanding his knowledge base. He's CCIM. He's got his master's in real estate. He's a certified general appraiser. He's got his MRICS, and he is now an MAI candidate. Lifelong appreciation of learning and really trying to expand his overall repertoire across the entire real estate appraisal space. He's got a family-operated residential appraisal company. It's Kevin and his 3 sons that have been producing appraisals for years. And it came time where he was tired of turning away work for small multifamily assignments where he would be getting the bids quite often, but didn't have the appropriate licensing and the appropriate processes set in place to be able to capture those higher fee assignments. And he explained that, you know, the properties quite often look similar to the smaller plexes that he was tackling, but he just wasn't able to capture that business. And he wanted to be able to capture the higher fee for essentially appraising a very similar scenario. He's been using Valcre to streamline his multifamily template and is doing an amazing job of being able to capture that work. So we're going to kind of work through some key takeaways here in terms of you know, what we hope to convey today. So Valcre really helps enable you to diversify into the commercial appraisal space. You have to have efficient, standardized tools to consistently provide an appraisal product. You know, and there's very specific things that clients and end users of appraisals commercial appraisals are expecting. And Valcre helps you meet the demand of the marketplace and helps you stay in compliance with the various regulations and USPAP requirements for this type of reporting. Professionals in commercial real estate appraisal, it's an aging industry, rapidly aging industry. Myself, I'm in my mid-40s, and I'm considered a young whippersnapper in the commercial real estate appraisal industry. So the industry itself is in desperate need to backfill a wave of near-term retirements that we're observing. You know, a lot of our clients are heading towards the sunset portion of their careers, and they're looking to you know, exit the industry, and they're handing down their businesses to folks that want to take over the reins. And so it's a really good time and opportunity to connect with some of these appraisers and establish a good relationship and start to work towards getting them comfortable with you taking their book of business eventually.
Yeah, that's so true, Grant. And thank you for pointing it out. You know, opportunities to become a commercial real estate appraiser are boundless. It is a very real opportunity out there, and we encourage a lot of you to take advantage of that. You know, the opportunities are for grabs, and you know, we're hearing all of the time about you know, vendors and those in the space that hire CRE professionals. There's not enough of them, and it's only going to increase. The shortage is only going to increase. So now's the time. Now's the time. And so what do? You know, stay on top of what the continuing education would look like. Take a course every now and then. You know, utilize the education opportunities that are out there to you know, take down those hurdles, you know, so that you don't find yourself in a situation where, you know, having to expand or diversify becomes an emergency. Do it now while the doing is good. and stay on top of trends and what's going on, and be aware of what's happening in the market, and you'll be the smarter for it, and you'll be the one who's advantaged the most when it comes to making these decisions. That brings us to our third and final poll. So let's talk about what the question is involved for that. So how likely are you to consider exploring career opportunities in commercial real estate appraisal after this webinar? Very likely, somewhat likely, or not very likely. Hopefully this information that's being presented has been helpful and beneficial to you, piqued your interest, and if it has encouraged you somewhat, or enlightened you in any way to where making that leap is something that's going to be very likely for you in your career, or even only somewhat, definitely indicate here for us, because we would love to find a way to follow up with you about any of that as time goes through. So, and we've got all of our answers are coming in, so that's good. And on to next steps.
So if you are interested in exploring commercial appraisal as a way to expand your business practice, it's really critical to do the research on what classes you need and the qualifying experience requirements. And as Mark was talking about earlier, put together a timeline of when you anticipate to achieve them. Make sure that you get your ducks all in a line, so that you have a good understanding of what it's going to take, when you plan to achieve those goals, because that's what it's going to take due to the processes that need to happen. If you want, we are more than happy to discuss our Valcre team. We have an entire skilled set of product specialists. We'd be happy to discuss how the transition from or expansion from residential to commercial would be possible. We have industry-leading commercial appraisal tools, and they will help you efficiently develop market-accepted commercial real estate appraisals. We cover 15 different property types and counting, and have the various templates that you'll need to be successful in this space.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Thank you, Grant. Yeah, educating and yourself and talking to us about that is all super important. We just want to add to that, finding a mentor. You heard us talk about that earlier. There's probably nothing more important than finding a good mentor, a qualified mentor, a well-experienced mentor. They could make or break your journey. So definitely could encourage you to that, and on those previous notes that Grant was talking about, if you need help finding a mentor, let us know. Absolutely, we could help you find one. We work with hundreds of professionals all across the world, really, that are heavily engaged in the commercial real estate space. Something else we mentioned too was networking. Cannot underestimate the power of networking. Find somebody who is either in the space you're wanting to go in, or maybe is sharing your space and wants to go on the journey with you. The more the merrier, and the larger the network group that you set up for yourself, the more answers you're going to find, and the quickest pathway to getting answers is going to be through that route. Both, having a great mentor and networking, very, very important.
Yeah, and it strikes me that anyone that's currently in the appraisal space is going to have an entire network of clients that could possibly be ordering commercial appraisal reports, and they're just not getting the opportunity. So having those conversations as you start your journey, and explaining that this is a goal that you have, and what are the opportunities to expand our specific business relationship, is a great starting point. And I will echo, Mark's comments about mentorship. My career certainly wouldn't have turned out the way it did if it wasn't for the fact that I had multiple great mentors over the years. And then, you know, the goal would be someday that you can give back and also be a mentor. I've had the privilege of mentoring at least a dozen trainees over the years, and have found it to be an incredibly rewarding experience. So, Mark, should we start working down some of these questions?
I think so. I think now's a good time.
Oh boy.
I do see a lot of questions about like how long does it take and the time that's related to becoming a commercial real estate appraiser. You want to tackle that one?
Sure. So what is involved in becoming a general certified commercial appraiser? So the Appraisal Qualifications Board is the authority. We can provide a link to obtain the criteria document. It's a little over 70 pages long. We've tried to kind of, render that down to, the most meaningful requirements. Here they are. You'll need 3,000 hours of qualifying experience. That all has to take place within a fewer than 18-month process. Of those 3,000 hours, 1,500 hours have to be non-residential work. There's a total of 300 hours of qualifying education. This again is outlined in the required core curriculum as part of the AQB document. Now you'll note that to be a licensed residential appraiser, it's 150 hours, and to be a certified residential appraiser, it's 200 hours. So it's not like you're starting over to get into the commercial space. Quite a few of those classes will contribute towards being able to get your general certified. You need a bachelor's degree or higher from an accredited university. You need a supervisory appraiser, and then there is a AQB approved certified general real estate appraiser examination that you're going to need to take. And we'll provide a link to that document.
One other question I see is, do you have to have a college degree for your state certification? And just reiterating what Grant says, yes, that is a requirement. And then I saw another question too about an MAI. Do you have to be state certified to be an MAI? And I believe that's correct. I believe state certification is a prerequisite for becoming a member of the Appraisal Institute.
How about this one, Mark? For discounted cash flow analysis, could you discuss any vendors that offer appraiser supervised AI spreadsheet analysis?
So yeah, that's interesting. So there's vendors that we work with, Rockport, Val, Argus, and then of course our platform also has an Excel generated solution for you. If you're looking for anything that is supervised, obviously that's you're probably going to be looking towards getting help from your mentor or a supervisor, as all trainees have to have. If you're new into the certification realm, there's definitely help that you can get from peer groups. We do offer support in any of those areas. So I guess I'm thinking the answer generally overall would be yes. If there's something that you're needing help in that area, we could at least point you in the right direction.
And then Argus provides an entire certification program, right?
That is correct. Yes, I've been Argus certified myself. It's a bit of a journey, but it is fun and it's nice to have. But they do have a course that you can take that will get you certified, and you'll be well on your way to being a cash flow expert for sure.
Okay, here's the next question. How does the brand new trainee freshly out of QE course get into commercial appraisal?
So, yeah, I think that'd be the first thing that I would do is probably utilize some of the social media platforms, maybe LinkedIn even, and look for those commercial real estate appraisers that are looking for trainees. I mean, somebody who's completed their coursework, there's any number of fields that they could go into within the profession. They could go on the lending side. They could go and work with investment brokers or trusts and provide, real estate expertise. And then, of course, I was looking for other certified generals who to expand their team. Maybe expanded into the profession and are looking to grow, or maybe they've been there for a while and they've had, mentees on their staff that have gone on to start their own business and they're looking to backfill some space. So it's going to be a function of research and obviously taking advantage of networking and social media. And again, you could reach out to us and we may be able to point you in some direction to those that we may know of that are looking to grow their team.
All right, here's another question. Can you help match us up with other people in our area that are using the Valcre software? Well, the great thing is Valcre software is used across the entire US. We are in every state, and we would be happy to try and facilitate that connection. So if you would like to reach out to us through our website, we'd be more than happy to accommodate. So a comment here, a good way of getting into commercial appraisal is perhaps partnering with a commercial appraiser looking to learn how to get into residential appraisal. That's an excellent idea, Mark.
Yeah, I like that. It's a great comment.
So it's not only just commercial residential appraisers that could potentially expand into commercial. It works both ways. Commercial appraisers, by a license standpoint, are able to appraise residential properties. And so that would be an excellent way for a commercial appraisal firm to potentially expand their horizons.
Absolutely, definitely a growth potential.
So question, what is the best way to find a mentor? Additionally, what interview questions should I ask?
So I would just point person asking the question again to social media. LinkedIn is a great spot. I know the Appraisal Institute also has a space where CRE professionals are advertising or soliciting anyway for needed help. I think the biggest question to ask when you're looking for a supervisor or a mentor is, time on post. How long have you been appraising commercial real estate? And what do you typically appraise? A lot of times it's not just appraising commercial real estate. There are asset types that you might be more fond of or have an aptitude for more than others. Not everybody's going to be a resort hotel appraiser. Not everybody's going to be a multifamily appraiser. You might look for becoming a real estate appraiser with the Department of Interior and get all kinds of experience and appraise some of the some pretty incredible assets that regular commercial real estate appraisers may not ever get a chance to do. In your search for supervisory, somebody to take on as a supervisor, you might find somebody with Fannie Mae, or you might find somebody in the eminent domain side of things. And so very different, very nuanced, components, or I wouldn't say components, maybe specializations within the profession. So you might, check yourself. You might say, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go in this profession? Because it's a very broad field and a lot of opportunities there. It's not just, shopping centers and office buildings.
Mark, what are the benefits of being a commercial real estate appraisal? What's the benefits of that profession?
So I think we could just reiterate a lot of what we've discussed today. The benefit of having a certification in that area of the profession is that you're able to appraise more assets. Obviously, with a residential license or certification, there are limits that are set, and those limits are government oriented. With a commercial certification, then there are no limits. I mean, it's really based on your competency and your experience. And while it's something that you have to disclose in every assignment that you do, your competency level and experience level just grows every time you do a report. So, or provide a service for a client. The benefit is that once you've gotten to this point in your profession where you're able to take on different assignments, the opportunities just keep getting broader and broader. Even whether it means opening your own business, expanding your own business, job opportunities with government agencies, with national and international firms, vendors, lenders, real estate investment trusts. The opportunities and the benefits are boundless. We could talk for another day and a half on what those are.
Yeah, and one thing that I appreciated about my experience is when I first broke into the profession, I had an opportunity to appraise a pretty broad range of asset types. And as time went on, I got to kind of find out, carve out what my space looked like in the industry. And I really honed in on investment retail assets. And that in itself, you might say, well, that's general property type, so you can't specialize in it. But there's different ways to specialize in that asset type. For example, I really got into the property tax appeal space. And for a better part of 18 years, every year I was appraising retail properties that were going up for tax appeals. And so I got to carve a niche in the industry very specific to that. And I think everyone really has that opportunity, ultimately, is to break into the industry, get some experience under your belt, and then determine what drives you the most and what is, the property types you like appraising the most. And then really get after it. And it might not just be an asset type. It might be a geographic location. I like appraising commercial properties out on the coast because I like going to the coast. Opportunities are endless, just like Mark said.
That's a good point. And my eyes are drawn to a question that I think is really important. And it's somebody says they've been a certified appraiser for many years. How much of that work, if any, can substitute the bachelor degree requirement? Can't tell you how many times I've heard about that. And I will also tell you that it has been brought up to the AQB many, many times. So it's an excellent question. And I would like to form a question on the back end of that. So first of all, unfortunately, no, there's not any substitution that you can do for a bachelor's degree, but that's not the end of it. If you are a world changer, if you're a profession impactor and you want to get out there and be a major player in the field, get that CRE certification. And then seek out opportunities to serve on the board, opportunities to serve in chapters, opportunities to serve with the Institute, any type of, of appointment is available to you. I know a lot of the state seats and even the national seats, they're government appointed, and they love to hear from folks like us and hear us talk about, challenges like this. And, the more people that make a case for, qualified work experience and qualified education, replacing, some of the requirements for, say, a bachelor's degree, those are valid conversations, and you're encouraged to get involved in the profession and be an igniter.
Thank you so much, Grant and Mark. This was really such great information. Thank you to everybody that joined us. I'm sharing the slides with you right now. They should pop up in the handouts tab. I'll also send the offer again if you want to check out more about Valcre. That should pop up on your screen. And if you have any questions, there were a ton of questions, and I think we got most of them. But if there's something that wasn't answered, you can reach out to info@valcre.com, and that's info@valcre.com to get your questions answered. Grant and Mark, thank you so much for joining us. It was a great presentation today.
Thank you so much, Jim. Really appreciate the opportunity.
Our pleasure. Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, everyone else, and have a great day.
Cheers.